Chapter 10. Now the Queen of Sheba, hearing great things of Solomon, came to put his wisdom to the test with hard questions. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels weighted down with spices, and stores of gold and jewels. And when she came to Solomon, she had talked with him of everything in her mind. And Solomon gave her answers to all her questions. There was no secret which the king did not make clear to her. And when the Queen of Sheba had seen all the wisdom of Solomon, and the house which he had made, and the food at his table, and all his servants seated there, and those who were waiting on him in their places, and their robes, and his wine servants, and the burnt offerings which he made in the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her. And she said to the king, "The account which was given to me in my country of your acts and your wisdom was true. But I had no faith in what was said about you, till I came and saw for myself, and now I see that it was not half the story. Your wisdom and your wealth are much greater than they said. Happy are your wives, happy are these your servants whose place is ever before you, hearing your words of wisdom. May the Lord your God be praised, whose pleasure it was to put you on the seat of the kingdom of Israel. Because the Lord's love for Israel is eternal, he has made you king, to be their judge in righteousness." And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and a great store of spices and jewels. Never again was such a wealth of spices seen as that which the Queen of Sheba gave King Solomon. And the sea force of Hiram, in addition to gold from Ophir, came back with much sandalwood and jewels. And from the sandalwood the king made pillars for the house of the Lord, and for the king's house, and instruments of music for the makers of melody. Never has such sandalwood been seen to this day. And King Solomon gave the Queen of Sheba all her desire, whatever she made request for, in addition to what he gave her freely from the impulse of his heart. So she went back to her country, she and her servants. Now the weight of gold which came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents, in addition to what came to him from the business of the traders, and from all the kings of the Arabians, and from the rulers of the country. And Solomon made 200 body covers of hammered gold, every one having 600 shekels of gold in it. And he made 300 smaller body covers of hammered gold, with 3 pounds of gold in every cover, and the king put them in the house of the woods of Lebanon. Then the king made a great ivory seat, plated with the best gold. There were 6 steps going up to it, and the top of it was round at the back. There were arms on the 2 sides of the seat, and 2 lions by the side of the arms, and 12 lions were placed on the one side and on the other side on the 6 steps. There was nothing like it in any kingdom. And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the woods of Lebanon were of the best gold, not one was of silver, for no one gave a thought to silver in the days of King Solomon. For the king had Tarshish ships at sea with the ships of Hiram. Once every 3 years the Tarshish ships came with gold and silver and ivory and monkeys and peacocks. And King Solomon was greater than all the kings of the earth in wealth and in wisdom. And from all over the earth they came to see Solomon and to give ear to his wisdom, which God had put in his heart. And everyone took with him an offering, vessels of silver and vessels of gold, and robes, and coats of metal, and spices, and horses, and beasts of transport, regularly year by year. And Solomon got together war carriages and horsemen. He had 1,400 carriages and 12,000 horsemen, whom he kept, some in the carriage towns and some with the king at Jerusalem. And the king made silver as common as stones in Jerusalem, and cedars like the sycamore trees of the lowlands in number. And Solomon's horses came from Egypt and from Kue. The king's traders got them at a price from Kue. A war carriage might be got from Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. They got them at the same rate for all the kings of the Hittites and the kings of Aram. Chapter 11. Now a number of strange women were loved by Solomon, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, the nations of which the Lord had said to the children of Israel, "You are not to take wives from them, and they are not to take wives from you, or they will certainly make you go after their gods." To these Solomon was united in love. He had 700 wives, daughters of kings, and 300 other wives, and through his wives his heart was turned away. For it came about that when Solomon was old, his heart was turned away to other gods by his wives, and his heart was no longer true to the Lord his God as the heart of his father David had been. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and Milcom, the disgusting god of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the eyes of the Lord, not walking in the Lord's ways with all his heart as David his father did. Then Solomon put up a high place for Chemosh, the disgusting god of Moab, in the mountain before Jerusalem, and for Moloch, the disgusting god worshipped by the children of Ammon. And so he did for all his strange wives, who made offerings with burning of perfumes to their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned away from the Lord, the God of Israel, who had twice come to him in a vision, and had given him orders about this very thing, that he was not to go after other gods, but he did not keep the orders of the Lord. So the Lord said to Solomon, because you have done this, and have not kept my agreement and my laws, which I gave you, I will take the kingdom away from you by force and will give it to your servant. I will not do it in your lifetime, because of your father David, but I will take it from your son. Still I will not take all the kingdom from him, but I will give one tribe to your son, because of my servant David, and because of Jerusalem, the town of my selection. So the Lord sent Hadad the Edomite to make trouble for Solomon. He was of the king's seed in Edom. And when David had sent destruction on Edom, and Joab, the captain of the army, had gone to put the dead into the earth, and had put to death every male in Edom, for Joab and all Israel were there 6 months till every male in Edom had been cut off, Hadad, being still a young boy, went in flight to Egypt, with certain Edomites, servants of his father, and they went on from Midian and came to Paran, and, taking men from Paran with them, they came to Egypt, to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, who gave him a house and gave orders for his food and gave him land. Now Hadad was very pleasing to Pharaoh, so that he gave him the sister of his wife, Tahpenes the queen, for his wife. And the sister of Tahpenes had a son by him, Genubath, whom Tahpenes took care of in Pharaoh's house, and Genubath was living in Pharaoh's house among Pharaoh's sons. Now when Hadad had news in Egypt that David had been put to rest with his fathers, and that Joab, the captain of the army, was dead, he said to Pharaoh, "Send me back to my country." But Pharaoh said to him, "What have you been short of while you have been with me, that you are desiring to go back to your country?" And he said, "Nothing, but even so, send me back." And God sent another troublemaker, Rezon, the son of Eliada, who had gone in flight from his lord, Hadadezer, king of Zobah. He got some men together and made himself captain of a band of outlaws, and went to Damascus and became king there. He was a trouble to Israel all through the days of Solomon. And this is the damage Hadad did. He was cruel to Israel while he was ruler over Edom. And there was Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephraimite from Zeradah, a servant of Solomon, whose mother was Zeruiah, a widow, and his hand was lifted up against the king. The way in which his hand came to be lifted up against the king was this: Solomon was building the Millo and making good the damaged parts of the town of his father David, and Jeroboam was an able and responsible man, and Solomon saw that he was a good worker and made him overseer of all the work given to the sons of Joseph. Now at that time, when Jeroboam was going out of Jerusalem, the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite came across him on the road. Now Ahijah had put on a new robe, and the two of them were by themselves in the open country. And Ahijah took his new robe in his hands, parting it violently into 12. And he said to Jeroboam, "Take 10 of the parts, for this is what the Lord has said, See, I will take the kingdom away from Solomon by force, and will give 10 tribes to you, but 1 tribe will be his, because of my servant David, and because of Jerusalem, the town which, out of all the tribes of Israel, I have made mine, because they are turned away from me to the worship of Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and Chemosh, the god of Moab, and Milcom, the god of the Ammonites. They have not been walking in my ways or doing what is right in my eyes or keeping my laws and my decisions as his father David did, but I will not take the kingdom from him. I will let him be king all the days of his life, because of David my servant, in whom I took delight because he kept my orders and my laws. But I will take the kingdom from his son, and give it to you. And 1 tribe I will give to his son, so that David my servant may have a light forever burning before me in Jerusalem, the town which I have made mine to put my name there. And you I will take, and you will be king over Israel, ruling over whatever is the desire of your soul. And if you give attention to the orders I give you, walking in my ways and doing what is right in my eyes and keeping my laws and my orders as David my servant did, then I will be with you, building up for you a safe house, as I did for David, and I will give Israel to you. So that I may send trouble for this on the seed of David, but not forever. and Solomon was looking for a chance to put Jeroboam to death, but he went in flight to Egypt, to Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt till the death of Solomon. Now the rest of the acts of Solomon, and all he did, and his wisdom, are they not recorded in the book of the Acts of Solomon? And the time Solomon was king in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon went to rest with his fathers, and was put into the earth in the town of David his father. And Solomon went to rest with his fathers, and Rehoboam his son became king in his place. Chapter 12. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, where all Israel had come together to make him king, and, hearing of it, Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was still in Egypt, where he had gone in flight from Solomon, and was living there, came back to his town Zereda, in the hill country of Ephraim. And all the men of Israel came to Rehoboam and said, Your father put a hard yoke on us. If you will make the conditions under which your father kept us down less cruel, and the weight of the yoke he put on us less hard, then we will be your servants. And he said to them, Go away for 3 days and then come back to me again. So the people went away. Then King Rehoboam took the opinion of the old man who had been with Solomon his father when he was living, and said, In your opinion, what answer am I to give to this people? And they said to him, If you will be a servant to this people today, caring for them and giving them a gentle answer, then they will be your servants forever. But he gave no attention to the opinion of the old men, and went to the young men of his generation who were waiting before him, and said to them, What is your opinion? What answer are we to give to this people who have said to me, Make less the weight of the yoke which your father put on us? And the young men of his generation said to him, This is the answer to give to the people who came to you saying, Your father put a hard yoke on us, will you make it less? Say to them, My little finger is thicker than my father's body. If my father put a hard yoke on you, I will make it harder. My father gave you punishment with whips, but I will give you blows with snakes. So all the people came to Rehoboam on the 3rd day, as the king had given orders, saying, Come back to me the 3rd day. And the king gave them a rough answer, giving no attention to the suggestion of the old men, but giving them the answer put forward by the young men, saying, My father made your yoke hard, but I will make it harder. My father gave you punishment with whips, but I will give it with snakes. So the king did not give ear to the people, and this came about by the purpose of the Lord, so that what he had said by Ahijah the Shilonite to Jeroboam, son of Nebat, might be effected. And when all Israel saw that the king would give no attention to them, the people in answer said to the king, What part have we in David? What is our heritage in the son of Jesse? To your tents, O Israel, now see to your people, David. So Israel went away to their tents. But Rehoboam was still king over those of the children of Israel who were living in the towns of Judah. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoniram, the overseer of the forced work, and he was stoned to death by all Israel. And King Rehoboam went quickly and got into his carriage to go in flight to Jerusalem. So Israel was turned away from the family of David to this day. Now when all Israel had news that Jeroboam had come back, they sent for him to come before the meeting of the people, and made him king over Israel. Not one of them was joined to the family of David but only the tribe of Judah. When Rehoboam came to Jerusalem, he got together all the men of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 of his best fighting men, to make war against Israel and get the kingdom back for Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. But the word of God came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Say to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all the men of Judah and Benjamin and the rest of the people, the Lord has said, You are not to go to war against your brothers, the children of Israel. Go back, every man to his house, because this thing is my purpose. So they gave ear to the word of the Lord, and went back, as the Lord had said. Then Jeroboam made the town of Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim a strong place, and was living there, and from there he went out and did the same to Penuel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, Now the kingdom will go back to the family of David. If the people go up to make offerings in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, their heart will be turned again to their Lord, to Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they will put me to death and go back to Rehoboam, king of Judah. So after taking thought the king made 2 oxen of gold, and he said to the people, You have been going up to Jerusalem long enough. See, these are your gods, O Israel, who took you out of the land of Egypt. And he put one in Bethel and the other in Dan. And this became a sin in Israel, for the people went to give worship to the one at Bethel, and to the other at Dan. And he made places for worship at the high places, and made priests, who were not Levites, from among all the people. And Jeroboam gave orders for a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like the feast which is kept in Judah, and he went up to the altar. And in the same way, in Bethel, he gave offerings to the oxen which he had made, placing in Bethel the priests of the high places he had made. He went up to the altar he had made in Bethel on the 15th day of the 8th month, the month fixed by him at his pleasure, and he gave orders for a feast for the people of Israel, and went up to the altar, and there he made the smoke of his offerings go up.